Hello, I'm Dan, and this is Make Do DIY channel. And today I'll be voicing over a video on standing seam roofing. This is the first of a series of videos, at least two. The first one here concerns with doing the underlayment. Standing seam hand hammered roofing needs to have a beefy understructure in order to work. So the first step is to add some spacers under the skip sheath roofing, and this allows airflow to go underneath the standing seam metal panels, allowing it to dry out when humidity and moisture gets in there. And in this I'm just using spray foam as an adhesive down as a sealant in order to keep the OSB boards down to my plywood that's over top 2x8s with insulation in them. Nice view of how high we're up. I'm using 3-inch torque screws that go through the 1/4-inch plywood, the 3/8 OSB, and into the 2x8s underneath. This 3/8 inch OSB will give enough space for air to flow from the bottom to the top out the roof vent to allow any moisture that may get underneath there due to condensation a way to dry out, keep the wood from rotting. A little battery change out. And stop and pause. Take a look at the nice view. Now this was recorded last year at this time, probably late October, early November time frame. And I was just finishing up the project, and now I'm just getting to the point of editing the video. Hearing protection. Nice view over the edge for those of you who are scared of heights. And this is the finished product with the spacers. They're all laid down 2 foot apart, top to bottom. And then I will lay rough cut 1-inch pine over the top of that, which will give the anvil and hammer something strong enough to stay on. And here I'm just getting ready to put down the first rough cut 1-inch board and cut a relief for the vent for the composting toilet. You can see I use spacers in between the rough cut to hold the boards in place while I screw them down. Once the board's screwed in place, I move the spacers up, lay another board down on the spray foam, and OSB and rough cut with spray foam in between them is an excellent adhesive. In the ends I doubled up to 2x8s and used a few more screws to keep the wind shear from pulling up the boards in case of extreme weather events. And we'll run this rough cut all the way up to the top. Now, let's run up to the top, snap a line. Some hearing protection on. And cut from the top down. A little satisfying part of the whole process here. If you're wondering about my battery colors, I take my Bosch 2 amp hour batteries, paint them blue, take the 4 amp hours, paint them red, leave the 8 amp hours black. This allows me to identify them and grab them quicker. Nice little Ford 8N tractor down there that I rebuilt the engine on. Use it for field mowing. One of the satisfying parts of the job, makes it all come together. Now on the very top I don't put a last board in because that is for the roof vent, and these are just some 1-inch spacing blocks I'm putting in that will support the 2x4s that are going to go on next. Probably should have pre-drilled that since it cracked and split, but they're there just for spacers. Last one on, a nice little look over the edge there. Alright, and here I'm using pressure treated 2x4s that are pre-cut, and that'll elevate the last 2 boards for the ridge vent up in the air and allow the standing seam panel to tuck underneath the ridge vent. Gotta get the scissors. Here, this is just aluminum screen that I've cut to size that'll keep the birds and bugs and bees out of the vent. Lay down my pressure treated blocks. And there's a lot of wind shear at the top of the roof vent. So in order to make sure that this cannot come apart, I'm going to glue it and then screw it down with some 8-inch headlocks. Make sure to get deep into that 2x8. That way in extreme weather events the roof vent can't be ripped off. Nice fat head with a spider drive. So here's a rarity, talking live on videotape. Usually when I'm doing these projects, I got the radio blasting music. and I don't feel like talking while I'm working. But I've been at it for about 10 hours now, and I already took the radio down because we got rain tomorrow. Early in the morning, so I decided I'm going to finish up this work tonight while the weather's still good. So I got my supports for the ridge vent in. Now I need to get my two boards on top. Boy, it's hard to see up here. Got my driver. Find my spray foam. Got two decent boards up here. One and two. A little too long, I'll cut off the excess in the morning. Just want to get this on. Get the screen on it. Bury all the tools under the tarp, pull the tarp down for night so none of this wood can get moisture damage. Can't see a thing because I'm in my own light. Set that there carefully. Get a pocket full of screws. I guess I gotta clean these little turds of spray foam off. Bring my first bent pan, shove it right up against there, and start hammering and nailing. There's one there, I'm hammering into it. Alright, let's get all this garbage off the roof. Come back here, pull down the tarp. Turn off the camera. So the next video will show the pans being formed and secured to the roof.